emotions that you felt when you were getting it.
Whatever you have to pull from. Whatever you
were
need
not
to pull
mad
from.
at him when he was pounding you down.
Whatever you need to pull from to make it a positive situation, you pull from that. You work on that. You remember those times when you felt like he was, a good man, because he's if he was ever a good guy, he will be good to those children. He's not going to take it out on his children.
He may not like you.
Yes. But he's not going to take it out on his children. That you rarely hear fathers say, "You ain't no good just like your mama." But you hear mothers say, "You ain't no good just like your daddy."
Because mothers are emotional and men are logical.
And I think we need to start being a little more logical.
Yes.
We can't change the way we were wired. I'm emotional.
You're more logical than typical women that I've been with, because you have a reverence for your father, and your father put logic in you. Then the emotion comes out of you just being a woman, and you were raised by your mother too. But you do have logical thoughts in you, and they come out to where after the emotion, because we all act in emotions.
Well, I get advice about men from other men. I don't ask for relationship advice or advice about men from women, especially single women or divorced women.
She must have been looking at my notes.
Bitter women.
That was number 4.
Really? Where are your notes?
Notes right here. But that was number 4. Number 4 was keep a way of having a successful co-parent is co-parent is 2. Keep other motherfuckers out.
It's so interesting that you say that, because my mother asked me something one day. I can't remember exactly what the question was. My mother had asked me, and I told my mother, I said, "That's between me and him."
Ooh.
And I didn't say it in a disrespectful way at all, but mothers can overstep their boundaries sometimes when it comes to trying to micromanage their daughter's relationships. And I told my mother, I said, "That's between he and I." And she was trying to give me advice. And I said, "Mom, you've never been a single mother. So you really can't, if you really want me to get some advice from somebody on how to handle the situation, then I need to go talk to somebody who's a single parent. You've never been a single parent ever in life."
Being a single parent, but doing it successfully.
So, I had to keep my mother out of my business, and it's very important. That's hard for black women to do, because your mother is going to feed into that emotional. She don't want to see her baby hurt. She gonna feed into that whole emotional outburst. So it's really important that you keep other people out of your relationship.
Mothers, friends, because your friends, your girlfriends are just as emotional. The great thing about me telling my guy friends about what's going on with my daughter's mother and shit, they don't want to hear that crap. It's a short conversation. It ruins their damn day. So they don't want to hear it. And then they really aren't going to give me no advice unless I specifically say, "So what should I do?" And men aren't going to give you destructive advice. That's why it's easy for a man to go to another man. I've gotten ready to cheat on my girl before, and my homeboy been like, "You got a good girl. Why you doing that?" That's my homeboy say. Then I show him the picture of the girl I'm cheating with, being like, "Okay, I'll cover for you." But that's beforehand. He's saying this because guys will tell you. Guys will tell you, look. And it's the same thing like with my daughter. I allow my daughter to be around my girl. Why? Because my girl's a girl. My daughter's a girl. I can't teach her how to be a girl. So it's fun when she's around somebody that can do her hair, do her nails, all that kind of stuff. I let them do that because even when she's not around her mother, she's growing up and wanting to be
a girl.
And that's why, like right now, like she's sad that I'm not there, and she called me crying a little while ago, but she likes being around her mother now because, well, I get to do girl stuff. I get to do where, look, my mother will help me do this stuff. I'm kind of growing up. I'm trying to feel myself. And my dad's going to keep treating me like a little girl. And I'm trying to come into my own right now.
Yeah.
And then she'll gravitate a little bit more that way. And then her mother will start to be a headache, and she'll gravitate back to me. But the one thing I'm glad that her mother does not do is talk to her sisters, her friends. She had a friend that told her at one point in time that she should not co-parent with me and try to go back and get a friend now. It's a good friend. Quote unquote good friend. Because they didn't like the girl that I was dating, who the girl I was dating had nothing to do with my daughter. And she was like, "No, Thomas would never do anything to hurt his child. Whatever's going on with them." And she said, and then it's funny, she said, and then I told her, And now I regret saying anything to you because you're giving me the worst advice in the world.
Jealous. Because she probably doesn't have the same type of situation with the father of her children.
That's exactly what it was.
She has children.
She said she haven't read her, and they haven't been friends since. Because you can tell me what I should do in my situation, but when I point out what's going on in your situation, you think I'm being smart.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
It doesn't work.
It's like when you got a man, you talking about some things. Because here's what we need to learn: how to be able to bounce shit off of your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when my friend come to tell me some shit, I know he just want to vent. Why am I going to start? Yeah, nigga, you need to leave that bitch. I always tell people, here's the litmus test on should you listen to me tell you that you should leave your mate. If when you leave your mate, I'll let you come live with me. If I'm not going to let you come live with me, then don't listen to my fucking advice.
Exactly where you at.
Exactly. If I'm not going to suck your dick, nigga, you better stay with your girl. I'll tell a nigga that in a minute. How you going to tell me to leave my girl when half the shit she do, you ain't going to do for me? What the fuck are you giving me this advice for? I just view it that way. Mm-hmm. When you have friends, your friends will give you advice based upon what they wish they could have done in their relationship. A lot of you don't understand what I just said. Let me say this again. You'll have a girl who knows her boyfriend beats her ass. She will tell you, I never put up with that. When you tell her that your boyfriend shook you. Because she think you don't know. But you'll say, your last boyfriend cheated on you 3 times and you didn't leave him. But why are you telling me so easily to pick up and leave when it's advice you couldn't do? But that's why they're giving you the advice. They wish they were able to do it, but something's keeping them. But instead of trying to understand you and give you advice from that standpoint, which is what I said to you earlier, the communication. Mm-hmm. We don't like to communicate with people. The man will tell you when you catch him looking at somebody, you need to be more secure in our relationship. I ain't cheating. But as soon as you go to the club that night and then come home late, this nigga's blowing your phone up. He won't take the same advice he just gave you.
Yeah.
So I always take anybody's advice with a grain of salt. So keep other people out of your relationship business, especially when it comes to children, because this is called co-parenting. When other people want to
group parenting.
Exactly. When other people want to tell you, well, I wouldn't let my child do that. I've heard women say, I wouldn't. The dude and the woman will agree. Okay, he's gotten 13. I'm gonna let him come live with me. And she break down and say, okay, fine. One of her friends will say, I couldn't do that. Yeah, but your baby's dad is not in your child's life at all. Seriously, I mean, of course you couldn't do that because you don't have nowhere to send him. How could you do it? But they will give you that advice based upon them. And it will hurt you. And as a co-parent, what you have to do is say, it will really hurt me to not see my son every day because I've done it for 13 years. But you brought up the animal kingdom. Well, let me bring up the Greeks and most successful civilizations before then. The man would have nothing to do with his child up until it turned about 6. After that, the woman would have nothing to do with it. If it was a boy, the woman had nothing else to do with that boy. You can go look at the movie 300. He was like, he's a man now. Do you know what a Jewish bar mitzvah is for a man? You know what that means? The boy is a man. The mother can no longer tell him crap. He's a man. You can't tell him nothing anymore.
It all has to come from the father.
Right. He has to come from the father, and he has to make decisions as a man. And one of the best ways you can raise your son is when he's at 16, give him that. Start telling him you're a man now. Throw him off. Tell him his father that, you know what, only person that can tell him what to do from now on is going to be you, because he's going to have to go out into the world one day. So we only got about probably 3 to 4 years to prep him for being able to make his own decisions and having a boss. And we'd rather have him be able to make more decisions than be beholden to a boss. But as long as we continue to be his boss,
right,
he will never know what it's like
to be a boss.
And it is one of the best things you can do as parents is say, as a woman, God, this is so hard. Because when you look at your boy, no matter how big he is or how deep his voice is, you remember that little boy.
It's my baby.
How do I know? Because when I look at my little girl with her long ass legs putting on them sundresses, I remember her jumping in daddy's arms and being a baby, wanting to get Hannah. I remember a baby, no matter how old she is, And when she get 20, I'm pretty sure when you was 20, your dad saw his little girl. And I'm pretty sure times you crawled in his lap like a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it never stops. But he realized, I do gotta let this woman be a woman. And that's why he took pride in you becoming a married and a mother. And him becoming a grandfather. He had to step back and say, okay, I gotta be prideful in other shit now. Because that stuff is gone. And you gotta do the same thing with your son. It's best to push him out the door than have him run out.
Mm-hmm.
You know about relationships. You've been in a couple at least. Isn't it better to break up with somebody than have them break up with you?
Yeah.
You broke up with sucks. Even if you didn't really like that person no more, nigga, how you break up with me? This bullshit. Oh. So, as a parent, it's better to tear yourself away from that child than have to have that child tear themselves away from you. So the biggest thing about co-parenting is find stages, to me, and it's number 5. Find stages where you two can agree upon what it is you want to do and when you want to do it. Have you guys talked about when you want to get him his first car?
Yeah, his father already said when he turned 16 he was getting him, talk what kind of car he getting him and all that kind of, even though there's going to be so many different cars out by then.
Exactly.
We have another 4 years to go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've talked about cars, we've talked about college.
Good job.
Yeah, we talked about all that.
Saving for the college, teaching him to save for his own college, starting getting ready for you're going to have to get a job. Even stuff you're going to buy for him, make him think you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like the car thing. I already have money set aside, but tell him you got to get a summer job.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to him. You're going to want to, I know at 12 right now you don't get it. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to want to drive a car at 15, 16, but he's probably thinking about a car now at 12.
And we've already talked about, like, what kind of job would you want when you get old enough to get a work permit and everything. And he's like, I don't want to work at a fast food place. He want to work somewhere like Best Buy or Rasputin's that sells games and CDs and stuff like that. Yeah, so we already talk about stuff like that. So, yeah, and I think when you worry more about your child's future than you worry about your feelings being hurt,
there you go.
You do a better job at co-parenting.
That is exactly.
I mean, my feelings were hurt. I don't ever want to give off the impression that I had a perfect, ideal situation. I went through all the processes. I went through the grieving process of my relationship was no longer, and I went through the being sad. I went through the being angry. I went through the being resentful. I went through all those processes, but it never came in between my son's relationship with his father.
How do you handle disagreements, though? He wants him to play football. You think it's too rough. How do you deal with give an example of a disagreement that you guys butted heads on?
We just butted heads recently because my son just had a birthday and his father's gift to him was tickets to the Lil Wayne concert. And I was completely in disagreement with that. I just did not agree that a 12-year-old boy should be going to Lil Wayne and T.I. and 2 Chainz.
I agree.
That just wasn't.
But did you hear him out?
I was completely. I listened to his father, and my son almost didn't even want to tell me. His dad was like, "Tell your mama where we going, next Friday." He was like, "Lil Wayne, T.I. and 2 Chainz." I was like, "Who?" Lil Wayne, T.I. and 2 Chainz. And I looked at his dad, and I was like, this is what I said to him verbatim. I said, I don't agree with this. I would never have bought him tickets to that type of concert, but I'm not going to stand in between what you two do, your male bonding time. I don't agree with it. Their lyrics are way too racy. It's not going to be a clean version. This is live, raw, and uncut. Yeah, it's not going to be a clean version. This is live, raw, and uncut. So just know what it is that you're going into. Make sure you sit down and talk to him before the concert. Make sure you guys sit down and have a conversation after the concert. He's going to see a lot of things at this concert, and you best believe on Monday when he goes back to school, nobody else in his class has gone to this concert. So I was definitely not in agreement with it, and I certainly wasn't going to have an argument with his father about it in front of my son.
Now, what you do need to do is you guys need to sit down, and what you need to say is to him is, look, we are co-parents, and I will never, ever, out of respect for you, make a big decision like this without your input. Now, I understand you may have not thought this was a big decision because to you it's a boy and he know. But you still have to understand he's still my boy too, and I want him to remain a boy as long as I can.
Long as he can, yes.
Right, because the world is going to offer him sex soon enough, if not already. But to give him the idea of sex in such a reckless way as they're going to present it is not going to help him.
Right.
It's going to teach him how to degrade women and how to devalue his own physical well-being. And do you want to teach our child that? See,
right.
You could have had that conversation. Or if you guys have had a counseling with me, he couldn't have said anything. You didn't disrespect him.
Right.
You told him you can go ahead and do this. And you explain what you believe are the potential dangers in the activity that he's going to that you're allowing him to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing you were doing that I told you of how to explain why you don't want any children. It makes it very difficult when you explain communication. It makes it difficult for people to do that. I could talk you into having a baby if I wanted to, just by communication, just by trying to explain to you my side of things and how it could benefit you. One of the things we do a horrible job at as black people is showing people the benefits of whatever it is they be doing or the downside of whatever it is they're considering. You set him down and you let him know this could be a bad thing, and you don't want your son walking around being Lil Wayne. You don't want your son being Trayvon Martin, because the Trayvon Martins of the world listen to the Lil Waynes of the world. Mm-hmm. And what they believed was that this entertainment was real, and that they must mimic this in order to be black men. And I'd say to him, and you know, I didn't marry you or have a child with you because you were like Lil Wayne. But if you put my 12-year-old in front of Lil Wayne, he's going to want to emulate Lil Wayne because Lil Wayne is cool. Mm-hmm. No matter what we think, children think about our parents, we still want to be cool. When you were in high school, you wanted to be a pretty girl, you wanted to dress nice, you wanted the boys to like you. It didn't matter what your dad said after a while. You still had to go to school and dad wasn't there.
Right.
I know girls who used to wear clothes to leave the house, get to the school,
and change.
You want to still be your dad's little girl when you get home.
I had to wear uniforms. I went to Catholic school, so there was no changing. But we could roll them skirts up to make them shorter.
Exactly. So that's what it was. So you have to explain it to him, and he probably laughed when you explained. He said, "You know what? You're right. I thought it was innocent because to me it is innocent because I might let him listen to a little bit of it in the car, but I think I have control of it. But in all essence, I don't have control of it. Oh,
he doesn't even listen to it with me in the car.
Right. I'm saying he would say I probably let him listen.
Oh yeah, well that's where
my daughter's in the car. I've slipped and let her listen to some shit because that's my jam. This Snoop, shut up, you listen to this. But we have control of it when they're in the car.
Right.
When you get to that concert and they love it so much that they go to school and now they playing it because all their friends are saying it, and you just basically sanctioned it because now they can go to school and tell their kid, my daddy took me to this. And like you said, the other kids go, ooh.
Really? Your dad?
So you just became the cool kid because you did something. So whenever you get a taste of coolness for doing something wrong, you don't stop. It's like the twerk girl.
Yeah, right.
You twerk one time and then people say, girl, you was killing it on that video.
And I think he was probably surprised that I didn't go off.
More of a fight, yeah.
Because the old me would have been like, he not going. That not my son. I would have kind of went off or whatever. But that didn't happen. I didn't go off.
Why didn't that happen?
Because I'm really in a place where I don't want to be in control of every single little thing, and I want his father. I think it's coming to a point, and I've talked to his father about this before. It's coming to a point where their communication is more like they're turning into friends, and I keep telling him, like, you're not his friend, you're his dad, and there's gonna come a day when you're gonna have to snatch him by his collar and put him up against the wall and make his feet leave the ground so you can remind him, like, I'm the daddy. I'm the, because like I said, we grew up differently. He was raised by a Chinese mother.
That might be why a little bit of that's happening.
Yeah.
Too, he has more of the female.
Chinese mothers don't whoop their sons. They worship their sons.
Female input of it.
So he's never whooped him before. So it's more of a buddy. We going to this Lil Wayne concert type of thing, and then it's also more of a, I want you to be happy. I want to overcompensate for the fact that me and your mom are not together, and
that's gonna make it harder on you, though.
Because I even sometimes, even with he and I find myself like kind of overcompensating for the fact that me and his dad is not together. Like it's all about you. Like, what you want to do? You want to go to the music park? You want to go here? You want to go there? What you want for dinner? Like everything I cook is what he wants. Everything I do is what he wants. We go to the movie, we watching what he wants. Like everything we do is all centered around what he wants. And then when he's with his dad, it's the same thing. Everything is centered around, what he wants. And I'm like, there's going to come a time, because I'm explaining this to him now. Life is not about what you want. Now you're 12. Now is the time. That's the age of accountability. I think that's when Jesus started preaching, when he was 12. These things that you're getting now are earned. You're not just getting it now because you're asking for it. You're 12. And I don't want him to just
cutting grass and emptying trash. All these things you gotta let him do. You even gotta tell your son, "I'm not gonna make your bed up no more."
Yeah,
you gotta make that thing.
Oh, he does that
for years.
He does that. He does it. He makes up the bed. I go behind him with the dish thing, because I just have a real, it's just something about clean dishes. Yeah, he'll do it, but it's just something about clean dishes, and I just think that little boys are nasty. So I just, I feel like there's just certain things of needs a mother's touch. But it comes a time where children have to start earning, and we do agree, on that he's a little spoiled. But there's now is the time where you have to kind of start earning.
Right. All right. Well, people, we are here at the end, and what we've tried to give you guys is something to help you in your travels with your co-parent. Because to me, it's a simple thing. The word is co-parent. Together. Parent is the part that you just ended it with. But a lot of you don't even want to be parents to your kid anymore. You want to be your kid's friend. So you can't co-parent when you're trying to co-friend. Because then they're going to co-opt that whole relationship. And then it's not going to work, because if one of you wants to be a friend, the other one wants to be a parent, they're going to naturally lean toward the more lenient one, the friend. And then it's going to make you be the ogre when you're trying to be a parent, when the other one's a buddy.
Yeah.
And a lot of that happens because what she said, we're overcompensating for the fact that we're not there. So we're trying to see who can outspend the other one, who can outfund the other one. Mm-hmm. And then you just become the child is playing you both.
Yeah.
So as a mother, thank you for your thoughts on this. We might even have to do more. We'll go by. You guys are going to leave us some questions if it's something that you miss, and we might even come back and do this again. But I think it was fun because I like talking about parenting. That's one of the most fun things to me. I love talking about parenting and children because there's no right or wrong way to do it. Mm-hmm. But if we as a community would try and help each other navigate through this thing that each of us are having a hard time doing, because no matter what we think, it is a difficult time. A difficult thing to be a parent because there's no right or wrong way to do it. Right. You've seen parents that have 3 kids. They raise all 3 of them pretty much the same. One of them grow up to kill all the other 2. So, the stupid motherfucker. It just grow up to be a dumbass. And one of them grow up to be an astronaut. And you're like, I gave them all the same love, but it didn't register the same. So it make you feel like, where did I go wrong? You didn't go wrong. That motherfucker was just stupid. And sometimes you got to step back as a parent to say, I did all I could.
Right.
So what are your last words you want to say?
I think I pretty much said it all. Just, especially, Black women. If you are in a position or you're going through the whole court system and you are in the process of trying to keep your child's father out of their life for whatever reason, just kind of rethink your method and rethink your reasoning. Just because your relationship is not working out, don't don't allow that to affect your child's relationship with their father. That is a very important relationship. And I think once we learn to put our feelings to the side and put our children's well-being in the forefront, you say you love your child, show it. And keeping the parent out of their life is not showing love for the child. You're showing resentment for the other parent, and I think it's immature. I think it's childish. I think it's ghetto. I think it's something that you don't see many upper echelon middle class families doing. It's a hood trait.
Because we don't have anything else.
We need to erase that. We need to stop that. We talk about stopping the cycle, stopping the trend, stopping these generational curses. That's where it begins, because we Black women have failed our families. We've failed our communities. We've failed our churches. We've failed because we're not allowing the Black man to be what he's supposed to be, and that is the head of the household. So, just because your relationship doesn't work doesn't mean that you can't have a healthy relationship with your ex or the father of your children. And I'm a strong advocate of co-parenting, and I'm a strong advocate of, if you can't work with him, then you don't need to have custody of the children. They need to go be with their father.
Amen. And to the guys out there, stop trying to go back and sleep with your baby mama. It didn't work for a reason. And two, stop picking up baby mamas that ain't, or whatever you saying that she's doing X, Y, Z, or she's hard on you. Well, she was probably hard on you before she ever got that baby. Us as men, if we want a woman to, if women want to give us the reins and say, you need to be men, well, one of the things a man does is make decisions and makes his own road and way. And if you're picking women who end up being that way, then that's your decision too, because you chose to walk up to her, you chose to lay down with her, you chose to not wear no condom. That was all on you. You and I both know the system. We know the system is not in our favor, so why would we keep putting ourselves to be in the system? We have to be men and say what it is we are or are not going to put up with. And maybe, just maybe, the women will respect you more because you take a stand. Because the majority of us will lay down like dogs in order to lay down with a dog. And that's the sad part about us as Black men. We don't have any conscience. We'll lay down with anything and say anything in order to do it. And then when the repercussions come, we do like women, which is pass the buck. I think women should be allowed to, at a certain. Black women are the only race of women that are not allowed to just be irresponsible, because the men are just as irresponsible. Other races of women, they're allowed to run around and be irresponsible because the men can pull the reins when it gets time. The men can say, okay, enough, and not grab the woman by her neck. What I'm saying is, they have enough economic power. They have enough judicious. All right. They have enough economic power and judicial power. They have enough to be able to say enough is enough. That's how they stemmed the tide with feminism. And that's why it ran over blacks. Because Black men didn't have enough economic power or judicial power to stop it. So if you didn't notice, it's only white feminists now are just typically just them ugly chicks. The other chicks was like, well, wait a minute. The dudes was pulling away from us. Mm-hmm. They did still own the company, so the more we became feminists, the less they just started hiring shit. They changed it. They were able to do something. Black men were never able to do anything. We couldn't stop it. The only thing we can do right now, Black men, is build your wealth, build your health, and start investing in each other and yourself first, and then pick a mate. It's too many Black men who don't have shit out there on Match.com. He got, seriously, the nigga make $100 a month and he's spending $35 on Match.com.
Is that how much the membership is?
I heard.
Wow.
I heard that Match is $35.99 a month. I don't know. But the point is, you got enough money to go to Waffle House or McDonald's and get on their Wi-Fi to try and get chicks off the internet and twerk. What did you expect to happen, sir? So we have to make better decisions, and the women have to make better decisions. And we both have to understand that every time we stroke, something could happen to change my life forever, or at least the next 18 years. Mm-hmm. So ladies and gentlemen, go out and have sex, have fun, do what it is that you like. But why not have at least a modicum of respect for the person you lay down with? Health-wise, that will help you. If you were, a lot of times when you catch something, it's because you didn't respect the nigga you caught it from. You didn't like that nigga way. I'm itching. I couldn't stand that nigga. You knew he wasn't shit. If we just had respect for each other and ourselves, it would change. So co-parent, two parents, get together, guys. Hey, any questions you got, hit us up. Make sure you join CC's page on YouTube. The links will be on there. Make sure you join mine. Follow me on Twitter. Follow her on Twitter. Let's get it done, people. Let's have fun. Talk to you.
Good night.
Good night.